how important do you think the graph is for the future of crypto and Web3?
I think the graph is already extremely important. I think the graph is, if you're not using it, you're really putting yourself at a disservice as a developer. I mean, not everybody has access to the graph tools, unfortunately, but I know that the graph team is trying to add more chains all the time. So why I think it's important is it really is a great starting point for new developers. For someone who isn't a developer at all, or someone who's self-taught with a little bit of JavaScript knowledge or whatever, for them to jump into other environments and other stacks is quite daunting. So what I've found is that subgraphs actually, there's a nice balance there, right? So if you go and learn Solidity, and you have to have a little bit of Solidity knowledge to do a subgraph, but it's doable, right? There are resources out there to do that. From there, you have to know a little bit of data structures for your GraphQL, and you have to know a little bit of TypeScript. But those are totally manageable to learn if someone's helping you, or if you have the time and you have the drive, it's easy to learn. Once you learn how to make a subgraph, you have TypeScript and GraphQL. Once you've built on those skills, you have TypeScript, GraphQL, and Solidity. And if you add React to that stack, you're a full stack Web3 developer, right? So you can build dApps. Well, how's that for leapfrog? And in traditional Web2, you have to learn all these different disciplines. You have to learn them quite deeply. With regards to Web3, you're going into Solidity, and there's a lot of other things. But with a subgraph, Solidity, you don't have to know how to write it. But if you can read it and you understand the events and you understand what it's doing, then you can move from that and create subgraphs. Why the graph is really important for the ecosystem? They stand on the middle ground. They stand as I kind of see them as the center post of the tent of Web3, for the ecosystem that I work in, which is EVM compatibility and a little bit more. The graph, just for most of the solutions, it's part of the solution for a lot of the dApps and applications that you see out there. And I'm just speaking about the development side, right? So I'm not even speaking about indexing. I'm not even speaking about curation or delegation right now. So I'm speaking from the developer's standpoint. I would love to be able to touch more on indexing and delegating and curating, but I'm not the expert on it. I've done a little bit of curating, I've done a little bit of delegating, but I deploy subgraphs, and it makes my life as a Web3 developer way easier. And just because you have to build a subgraph for a smart contract doesn't mean it doesn't have to, it can't apply to a very Web2 sort of, or like a very real world thing. We can get really creative with what we do, and I've kind of explained that with like building a forum. But subgraph development it really gives you a lot of time to work on being creative, which you would normally put into struggling to get your backend deployed. So it's an amazing set of tools. It's an amazing protocol, which really is creating quite a vast economy. I'd like to see it grow. I'd like to see more indexers and more delegators and more curators and more people using the decentralized network.